Hi, it's me. I am back with an update and I am pregnant. I know you were really worried about me after my last video I posted. We did do an embryo transfer, a frozen embryo transfer, to try to conceive baby number 2, and unfortunately it failed. That was extremely hard for me, which I'm gonna update you just a little bit before I update you on my first trimester of this pregnancy, because let me tell you sis, it is night and day from my pregnancy with Nash. We also know the gender, because I know you're wondering and thinking and probably gonna ask. We do know the gender and we're planning on announcing when the baby is born. I really hope I can get my shit together with these YouTube milestone videos, because I would like to do something special for a gender announcement for baby number 2, but we'll see. I'm just happy to be here now. So like I said, and as you saw, our first embryo transfer was a fail, and that was extremely hard. Medications were also extremely hard this time around. I don't know if it's because I had to do them twice because I did back-to-back frozen transfers, or I don't know, it was just a bad time for me to do IVF, but my body physically and mentally did not respond to the medication well at all. I think I experienced, well, I'll get into this a little bit later because it has to do with my first trimester, but my mental health has just not been good, and I feel like I'm just now finally taking a turn for the better. But I just want to be honest and transparent about what's going on in this pregnancy, because, you know, I had it really easy with Nash. It was a pretty easy pregnancy journey. And a lot of you were like, oh my gosh, I am so jealous that you love being pregnant and you had this really easy journey with him. And let me tell you sis, every pregnancy is different. It's true what they say. So I'm really going through it with this one, and I kind of want to open up about that with you today. I did post an almost real-time video of me finding out that I was pregnant onto Instagram and TikTok. I just now uploaded it to my YouTube channel as a YouTube short. But yeah, I got to find out with Nash that I was pregnant after our successful second frozen embryo transfer, and it was the most special thing ever. Very casual, which is very much my style. I just have been very casual this entire pregnancy, honestly, which is what I prefer. It's a lot less stressful for me, and you know I like to keep things real around here. I know everybody says that all the time, but you know me. Little effort and as transparent as possible, and that is genuinely what happened the morning that I found out that I was pregnant with baby number 2. I went and got Nash out of his bed. He had just woken up and we tested together. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go ahead and check it out. Like I said, I uploaded it as a short, but it's also on Instagram and TikTok. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. I am currently 19 weeks pregnant, which is absolutely blowing my mind. We are almost halfway there. I told myself I was gonna do major milestone updates for my YouTube channel because it's so hard for me to be consistent with my uploads, having a toddler. Honestly, my uploads as Nash got older just slowly stopped because I want him to have all of my attention whenever I'm at home with him. That's really important to me. So I haven't been super active. As he gets older and he's more aware of like mommy's work or the camera or the phone or social media, just wanted me to be off of it and playing with him, I do, period. So I haven't really been active on anything much lately, and this pregnancy has just been super hard, but I feel like I'm finally feeling a little bit better mentally and physically. And also on top of that, we just started a more of a, not full-time, he's going 3 days a week, but they're longer school days for Nash. So as he's turning 3, wow, like if you've been here at the beginning, can you believe that I have a freaking 3-year-old? Like, it absolutely blows my mind. Anyways, as he's turning 3, I shared this whole journey on my Instagram too, by the way. He has just been showing signs that being at home with mommy the majority of the time isn't really enough socially and academically. And you know, if you follow me on Instagram, I share to my stories that I try to do like school stuff with him all the time. And I used to be a teacher, so in my mind I've always been like, well, if he's not going to school that much, I can fill in the gaps for him, and I can do this for him, and I can do that for him. But I'm finding that it's just, first of all, having a son, him being a very active, just boy, 100% boy, he's not wanting to sit down and do the activities. I mean, his attention span is very short when it comes to that. He wants to be learning by playing, and he learns from his other kids his age, honestly, best. It was time. It was time for him to go in a more structured environment and learn from his classmates and from other adults in his life. He was doing Mother's Day out for a while when he turned 1, but that is just twice a week, and it's only like It's only a few hours, y'all. I felt like I couldn't drop him off, turn around, come home, use the restroom, and then I had to turn around and go pick him back up. But he loved it so much, so I was just like, let's do it. I mean, he's loving it. He's learning, but whenever they're not going regularly, he really couldn't get that routine and really couldn't absorb a lot, you know, whenever they're not going that consistently. So it was fine whenever he was a little bitty baby and whenever he was younger, but as he's like, y'all, he's turning into like a kid, and it's absolutely blowing my mind. But I just noticed that he needed more. We're only on week 2 at this new school, and today, honestly, which is the reason why I'm sitting down talking to you right now, is the first time that I can really breathe. I think we're making progress with the new school. He was very hesitant at first, but he's only known the teachers that he's had at Mother's Day out his whole life. So this is a huge change for him. Also, the class size now that he's going to be in is double as big as his last class size. That is a huge adjustment. When I drop him off in the morning, I'm overstimulated. And I know that means that he's going to be having way less one-on-one, which there's so many trade-offs whenever you make decisions like this with your kids, because on one hand, I'm like, it's a bigger class, he's gonna have less one-on-one time, but he's learning. They have actual lessons and stations, and the things that he's already absorbed just in the actually like week and a half that he's been there is absolutely blowing my mind, because they actually have standards in their classroom and a curriculum that the teachers are held accountable for. So I'm seeing a huge difference in him academically already. So it's like in my brain, I'm like, I know this is good for him and he's learning. But it's a full-time childcare, but I am only sending him 3 days a week because he's only 3. And I'm not rushing the whole pre-K preparing for kinder thing with him. Fortunately, Nash is a very smart boy. His speech is unreal. So I've always felt like even if he is never in an academic setting, whenever he's little, he's only 3. And by the time he goes to public school and kindergarten, he's going to learn quickly. If I had any concerns about him developmentally and learning up until this point, we would have started daycare, childcare, whatever needed to happen, any intervention already. But in my mind, I'm like, I have no reason to think that he's not going to be able to pick right up whenever he goes into kindergarten. So I really haven't rushed it. I want him to be as little for as long as possible, because this world, whenever they go to kindergarten and they go to public school, this world just snatches them up and spits them back out 14 years later. And that's just how I feel as mom. And I know not everybody feels the same way. Some people want their kids from day one to go to the best daycares with the best curriculum. And, you know, they want to make sure that their kid is the smartest kid. And, you know, some parents are just like that, and that's not me. I want him to have a really good foundation with his family and be as little as possible. And his only job right now is to be happy and play. I think that that is the most important part of his development, and academics will definitely come later. Mind you, your girl has a master's in early childhood development and curriculum and instruction, so I feel very confident in my decisions as a mama. But I do feel like this is kind of like a happy medium where he's getting his cup filled on those school days, and I'm getting some time too, because if you have a 3-year-old in general, but a 3-year-old boy, I can't do anything like whenever we're home together. I love it. I love playing with him. I love going places with him, but he's also never been like a entertain yourself type of kid. He requires a lot of outside play and a lot of movement and a lot of interaction. And I can't not do anything whenever he's here. So that's been really nice too, that I have these 3 days to just be here with you, film. I can get some mom chores done, which doesn't usually get done unless dad's home with me. And that's really tough because whenever Matt's home, we want to hang out as a family, and I'm just not able to do that because I have a very demanding kiddo. So he's happy learning and playing 3 days a week, and mommy gets some time. So anyways, that is the update on Nash. I didn't anticipate that being that long, but we haven't talked in forever. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm happy to update you. So now let's talk about this pregnancy. almost took your girl out. I've always said I wanted 3 kids. Matt would be happy with 4. And I told myself, well, maybe once I have that 3rd kid, I'll be open-minded enough to have the 4th. We'll see how it goes. This baby said, I want to be your last. The moment that I peed on that stick, I've been sick. I've been real sick. The moment that this child latched onto my uterus, your girl's been sick. That was not the case with Nash. I did have maybe 2 weeks of nausea with Nash. It didn't last very long, and it was around like, I think 12 or 13 weeks. It led up by 15 weeks. So while I was at my monitoring appointments at my IVF clinic, because if you're not familiar with IVF, once you get pregnant, the journey don't stop there. You have to get monitored and graduate from your clinic around like 11, 12 weeks. So I started taking the Unisom B6 combo, and that did take the edge off with the nausea, but I just felt like crap. Like, it wasn't completely lifted off of me. We were still touch and go, but I could get out of bed. I could get out of bed in the morning, and it'd kind of wear off throughout the day, but there was a point in an extended period of time where the thought of getting out of bed was really hard. I never experienced that before, much less for weeks, months. I mean, the first 2 months of this pregnancy, like, the thought of just functioning as a human was a scary thought to me, and it seemed impossible. And that will mess with your head so freaking bad. On top of that, I was in the thick of it during winter. So my seasonal depression, first trimester sick depression, mom guilt with a toddler. I mean, I actually think I experienced true seasonal depression for the first time ever. I know that that was perpetuated by pregnancy, but I just didn't recognize myself. I felt like it was also like, I am a strong-minded person, and I've always been able to tell myself whatever I'm going through is temporary. And that's what's like got me through my life's journey up until this point, and all the hard things that I've had to overcome and do, and that I've shared with you, and some things I haven't shared with you. But I just have always been the type of person that's like, okay, if I can't change it, I need to change my mentality. And I know that everything is temporary, everything that I'm going through right now. And it didn't feel temporary mentally. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be the same. Like, I think that my brain is changed forever. And you know, I don't know if I want to say this, but I do, because some of you might be able to relate to it. In my family, I witnessed poor mental health and a family member struggle my entire childhood. And I have this fear that one day this switch is just gonna happen in me, and I'm gonna go through the same thing. And whenever I was in the thick of it in my first trimester, it did cross my mind where I was like, this is it for me, and I'm not gonna be the best mom to my kids like I thought I would be. And that scared me a lot, because I was trying to fight it off so hard, because I don't want that for myself. But I was just struggling so bad. I was sick every day, all day, every day. And I had this toddler at home with me that I'm usually so active with. I couldn't do anything with him. My mom guilt was level 10 max. And I didn't think that I would ever go back to normal, which is a crazy thing to say, but whenever you're in it for so long, you really think like, this is how I'm gonna be this is who I am now. It's scary. It's real scary. But I'm happy to report that I'm finally having more happy days than extremely sad days. And it's the best feeling ever, because I feel like I'm getting back to myself. But struggling during pregnancy is not talked about enough, I feel like. You know, you hear people say, oh, I'm so nauseous. Oh, I'm so fatigued, I can't get out of bed, my body hurts. You don't really internalize it until you go through it. So maybe it's talked enough, but since I hadn't experienced it before, I didn't know. And I was not okay. So anyways, that started at 6 weeks. It continued, and finally at 16 weeks, I had my first like OB-GYN appointment was it 16 weeks? Yeah. I had my first OB-GYN appointment, first ultrasound at my OB-GYN. And no, you go at like 12 weeks, right? I think I was like 13 weeks. So I go and she's like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? The baby looked amazing. It was a really good ultrasound. And I told her, I was like, sis, like I can't brush my teeth. I've been riddled with guilt too because it's so hard to take prenatals. It is so hard. Every time I take my prenatals, still to this day with the prenatals, I've been battling this prenatal battle. I've gone through like 3 or 4. With Nash, first one I tried, loved it, stayed on it the whole time. I've gone through like 3 or 4 prenatals with this one because still to this day, they come back up. Can't do the prenatals. So, I was just like, hey doc, I'm really going through it, like really bad. Can't brush my teeth. I can't really eat. I'm like surviving off of plain tortilla chips because I'm so sick and I can't take my medicine, like even water's making me gag. And she was like, okay, well, let's get you on Zofran. I know that there's some risks associated with Zofran because your girl does her research, this you know. Since I was held off, which like a dummy, through my first trimester, I felt like a little more comfortable taking the prescription nausea medication because a lot of the crucial first trimester things that needed to be formed with the baby had happened. I was comfortable taking the Zofran in starting my second trimester. So yeah, if you've ever taken Zofran before, so in pregnancy I'm already super constipated, but the Zofran just added a whole nother level. I've also never experienced that, okay? This pregnancy is wearing me in. I'm gonna spare you the details, but I had a very gory situation in the bathroom because of Zofran, attempting to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna spare you the details, but this baby is turning me into a woman. Like I am experiencing womanhood, motherhood, all the things that they talk about. I'm experiencing it in this pregnancy. My boobs. So with Nash, everyone told me my boobs were gonna get ginormous, and they did get a little bit bigger, especially because, you know, I breastfed and the milk, and it does like increase your cup size. But everyone told me like my nipples were gonna get like really dark and ginormous, and that didn't really happen with Nash. Like I felt like they still looked like my boobs, but just maybe a cup size or 2 bigger. Honey, this baby said, hold my beer. Because my boobs, I hate them. I hate them. They're freaking boulders. My nipples, my friend said that they're gonna go back to normal. I don't see how. I genuinely don't see how, but I guess they do. I keep telling Matt, I'm gonna need a boob job after this baby. I'm not even kidding, I'm gonna need a boob job after this baby. They're just, if I don't have a bra on, and he loves them. I don't know how he does because I look in the mirror and I'm disgusted. And Matt's like, you look great. Like, you look amazing, babe. And I'm like, boy, listen, I look back at pictures and stuff where I like gained a bunch of weight and I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, you looked awesome. Don't ask someone who genuinely loves you how your titties look while you're pregnant because they're gonna say they look amazing anyways. We'll talk after I breastfeed, Matt, we'll talk. Yeah, my boobs have changed a lot and that's an adjustment. They're ginormous and they actually hurt really bad this time. They did not hurt with Nash. Like, and I actually was really paranoid in the first trimester with Nash because I didn't really have super sore boobs. Now I'm like, don't even look at them, because it hurts when you look at them. So yeah, super sore boobs, just all the things, like I said, all the things. So that brings us to current time, which is I'm 19 weeks pregnant. I guess I can show you the bump too. We have our anatomy scan in a few weeks and I'm actually super freaking nervous for it because I've only had 1 ultrasound this entire pregnancy. And a lot of people have asked me why, what the reason is. Well, with Nash, it was my first time to do IVF, so I was considered high risk. So she went ahead and referred me to the high risk doctor. I was getting ultrasounds out the wazoo, baby. Like every 2 weeks, I was seeing a 3D image of Nash. Aside from having GD, which was easily managed, Nash's pregnancy and birth was, like I said, quite a breeze. And so my OB-GYN this time was like, I really don't need to refer you to the high risk doctor. So your girl is just not getting ultrasounds, which I guess you watching this, if you've had like a typical pregnancy, you're used to that. But me, I'm kind of freaking out. The baby's kicking a lot, not the kicks where Matt can feel it from the outside, but I feel the baby kicking often throughout the day. So that gives me a lot of peace of mind, but I am super nervous for the anatomy scan. I just want everything to look very healthy. And it should. So usually you get a 16-week gender ultrasound. So you get your initial at 12 weeks, then you go back at 16 weeks, you get your ultrasound, so your OB-GYN. It's a gender appointment. And I guess because we did IVF, we already know the gender. They didn't automatically schedule it for me. The nurse was like, oh yeah, if you wanted to do the gender appointment, you would have had to schedule that after your last appointment, like on your way out. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, we know the gender, but like, don't you want to see the baby? It's been weeks. So it has been a long time since we've seen this baby, and I am counting down the minutes until our anatomy scan. I'm also entering full-blown nesting mode. I will try to capture some of those moments on camera, because as I watch older videos of mine whenever I was nesting with Nash, it's so sweet. It is so sweet to see like how just my thought process when I was setting everything up for Nash. It's a sweet little chapter that I really love to look back on, and a lot of things are different this time around with baby number 2 when it comes to preparing for the baby and all the things that I realize that I don't really need, all the must-haves that everybody talks about, but there are things that I use with Nash that are definitely must-haves again. So I will try to capture that for you, because I know that that's super important and helpful for you to know as well, and I just want to document those moments for myself. So yeah, I think you're caught up. I feel like we could pretty much talk forever these days because we have so much catching up to do. I hope that I can keep up with this. If you're here watching, leave me a comment down below. I want to connect with you and I miss you, and don't ever feel like you can't comment or like be too shy to comment or think that I won't read it or won't comment back. I absolutely do. I still get comments on my videos, and I haven't uploaded in ages. Like after not uploading in years, I still am getting like the sweetest comments on my videos. It makes me feel really good, and it makes me feel like I'm not just talking to like a blank camera. It feels like I'm talking to you when you interact with my videos. I'm talking to my community and my little virtual village. YouTube is where I started, and I just poured my heart out on YouTube. It's funny because my family members were kind of against me doing that, just to see like my whole journey unfold, and I'm like, I'm still here. I'm still doing the dang thing because I love it. I genuinely love it no matter what anybody says. I love being raw and real and honest. I love human connection. My type of personality is I just crave it. So it just really fills my cup to be here and connect with you. I'm not one of those people who, I know that I don't know it all. And there's a lot of decisions that I've made on my journey with IVF and pregnancy and becoming a mom with a newborn and then a toddler. A lot of my decisions are made because of you, and you're not trying to screw me up, or you don't want to see me fail as a mom, and you're in my corner and rallying for me at every single milestone, every step of the way. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Hopefully, Michelle years from now watching back at this to kind of get a little refresher on how this first trimester went with baby number 2, is pregnant with baby number 3, and that pregnancy is a breeze. I'm manifesting that for you, Michelle. 3 years from now or 2 years from now, I'm manifesting this for you, that you're watching this back right now and you're in your 3rd pregnancy, and it is just such a breeze compared to this one. Okay guys, let's see that bump, and I will hopefully see you in another video. I'm gonna have like lines for my shorts, but here's the bump. Let me try to prop you up a little better. 1 second. Ignore my mess of a room and my unmade bed. But here is my 19-week bump. I meant to tell you this too, and I don't think it really matters, but I've gained 10 when I was last time at the OB-GYN, so probably like 11 pounds now at 19 weeks. So I think that's like the average amount. I'm honestly not too sure, but just a little update on my weight. And I'm kind of surprised it's not more, because I haven't been able to be super active, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know this, I had a little accident where I fainted because of the IVF meds. Remember I told you that they put me through it? They actually put me through it. No drama. I fainted, I hit a concrete wall, and I actually detached my retina. And I have to have eye surgery. So that will be in a future update, probably my 2nd or 3rd trimester update. When I have the surgery, I will update you. But yeah, I haven't been able to do any strenuous activity. I can't lift. I can't do anything that would cause pressure on my eye because then I will absolutely lose my vision.